If you are in your 40s or 50s and you're single, or you're in a relationship that is less than healthy, or you're in a marriage that is either failing or has already failed, I want to share some information with you that has been overlooked for quite some time now. I'm talking about the side effects, the long-term effects that our generation, those of us born in the 1960s and 70s, the side effects of being the first generation of children that experienced what is now being termed the divorce revolution of the 1970s, where there was a no-fault divorce bill passed by Governor Ronald Reagan in 1969, which basically opened up the floodgates of divorce in the 1970s, and we were the first generation in the history of mankind to experience such an event. If you think about the fact that since our generation came through, there have been multiple programs put in place after the fact. For example, Children of Divorce Intervention, the Children of Divorce Intervention program didn't come along until 1982, and we, our generation, we were already exiting high school and moving on into our young adult lives, in which all of us anticipated that special moment when we would be introduced to our future mate. The problem with that is we only knew mathematics, English, history, and science, and we knew nothing about going about establishing a meaningful relationship without trust issues, without commitment issues. No, we went into these relationships and relationship endeavors with all types of emotional, psychological side effects that were at some point documented after we came through. So I want to talk to you about the possibility of long-term effects of being the first generation. We felt the entire brunt of divorce and its effects, and we were the first generation to come through. I'm not talking about the children of the past 20 years, because by then we've already developed strategies on how to navigate them through this, what became somewhat the norm during the 80s and 90s going forward. But the fact that we came through when we did, our generation, it has been published statistically that our age group has the highest divorce rate, and that is not an accident. So I'm not referring to the kids over the past 20 years. I'm referring to my generation, of those of you who were born in the 60s and 70s and grew up during the 1970s divorce revolution. And as a consequence, I developed hashtag relationships, and I took the next step and created hashtag relationships registry and forum so that we can have live events to come out and actually start taking notice of what in the world do we need to do at this point of our lives going forward. Those of us who are interested in establishing a healthy relationship going forward. We have to stop running in circles, carrying with us probably deeper psychological, emotional scars than what we know about. Remember, we were the first generation to experience the entire blow of divorce across the board. We took the entire hit. And so if we know that there are psychological, emotional, and even economic side effects and long-term effects on other children. What about our generation? It came out of nowhere. It was like we started a race and the rules changed in midstream. And all we had to do, or what we were expected to do, was just adjust. And the next thing you know, we were young adults, and the rest is history. Some of the statistics that I'm going to share with you as we go along will be taken directly from an article published by W. Bradford Wilcox in the National Affairs magazine from issue number 1 during the fall of 2009. I'm pointing this out because the divorce rate is, in fact, higher for men and women of our generation, and it's not a coincidence. So if you're in your 40s and 50s and you seem to have problems with not only commitment, but maybe there's some insecurities in there, well, all of the programs and research and studies can link that directly back to being a child of either divorced parents, or if your circle of friends and family members, if there was divorce all around you, then it had an indirect effect on you as well. And those of you whose parents might have remarried, according to statistics, that didn't make the situation any better, because that's a heck of an adjustment too. So let's take a look at it. And if you are a child of divorce and your mate is a child of divorce, then let me tell you, that's double jeopardy. But we're going to look at it statistically. We'll let the experts point these things out, and I'm going to share this over the next couple of videos, and I hope that this information is beneficial. And stay tuned for the date and times for the #relationship registry and forum, where it's a live event, and we're going to come together and we're going to figure out what do we need to do as a generation going forward. I'm looking forward to your responses. My name is Jay Jackson.